Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Kurt. Welcome back to Far Lands or Bust. We are continuing on to the Far Lands with an odd inflection in our voice and a snowball on the ground. Let me look out for any snow creepers. Oh, there's one on that mountain, so let me do this, do that, grab Wolfie. Where's the sun? There's the sun, so this means this is west, as is confirmed by our compass pointing directly behind us. So we will go onwards. Indeed. There, I'll get it out of the way. The daily indeed. What was I going to say? I just checked before starting this episode, and some of you like to keep updated on how large the file save is for this world, and we're up to 1,247 megabytes. So says the floating snow dirt. Whoa, my god, I almost took a tumble. So yeah, that's pretty cool. We're going up there. But then also I checked, and we jumped up 2% since the last episode in our Child's Play fundraiser. We're up to 84%, so this is episode 84, I believe. Yeah, episode 84, and now we're at 84%. So you guys are going to surpass my ability to keep up with episodes for every percent that the fundraiser gets. But that's fine. Keep on going to farlandsorbust.com. I was actually going to stop talking after saying keep on going, but I decided to continue the sentence by talking about farlandsorbust.com. Anyway, like I said, you can keep on going to farlandsorbust.com to contribute to our fundraiser for Child's Play charity. That would be much appreciated. So yeah, what is today? Friday, the final day of September, which is crazy sauce right there. Time flies when you're having fun. I do want to mention a few things, speaking of time flying and having fun. If you all remember, back at the beginning of August, which was almost 2 months ago, I went to Florida, to Kennedy Space Center, as an invitee to the NASA Tweetup to watch the launch of the Juno spacecraft, which was an amazing experience. I put up a video, and of course, anybody who was following my Twitter stream and things like that was able to see what was going on there. But I wanted to, and I know a lot of you wanted me to keep you updated on future NASA tweet-ups, because you all seem very interested, so I'm happy to spread the word, and there are quite a few NASA tweet-ups. I'm going to just list off what's coming up. All this information can be gotten and or can be had from www.nasa.gov/tweetup. So you can go to that website and get the full details about registration and what to expect and the registration requirements. I know in the most part, registrants must be at least 18 years old. You don't have to be a United States citizen. Obviously, you can feel free to travel from anywhere. There are a few extra steps for non-U.S. citizens to go through in the case that it's at Kennedy Space Center and there's security needed and et cetera, et cetera. But it's a really good time, and if you're at all interested in NASA, it's really cool. You might, get a chance to meet astronauts or, the scientists behind missions. And like at the Juno tweet-up, Bill Nye the Science Guy was there. And then after that, they had a tweet-up for the Grail mission, and Neil deGrasse Tyson was there. So that's really cool that they got to meet Neil deGrasse Tyson. But in terms of what's coming up in the future, I'll just run down the list here really quick. On October 13th, in Washington, D.C. at the NASA headquarters, they're having kind of a short one-day tweet-up to meet two of the astronauts who were part of the final space shuttle mission, STS-135. Astronauts Sandy Magnus and but I'm not sure who I don't remember. Anyway, astronauts Sandy Magnus and Chris Ferguson will be there. Unfortunately, registration just closed today, Friday, September 30th. But feel free to watch on Twitter to see what goes on there. I certainly will be, but like I said, this is just kind of a rundown of what's going on. They have a bunch this month. October 14th, the next day, in Northern California, this registration is actually still open, or it's actually going to open between October 3rd and October 4th. Registration, pumpkins, The old registration pumpkins. Registration usually lasts about 24 hours, but on October 14th in Northern California, they're going to invite a Tweetup to tour and learn about the SOFIA telescope, which SOFIA is pretty interesting. It's actually a very large telescope that they've installed into a 747. So they go fly, obviously, in the 747, and that gets them above most of the atmosphere. So they can, you know, it cuts through all the atmosphere that usually gets in the way of ground-based telescopes. But it's a really cool thing. I'm not sure if they're going to obviously take you on a tour of it, but also the scientists and the facility that's there. Like I said, that's Northern California. I'm not sure exactly where that is, but you can get that information online. But yeah, registration for that starts October 3rd. So if you are in kind of the northern west coast area and that seems of interest to you, certainly you can register for that, and that'd be really cool. Let's see. On October 21st, watch your head. I actually ducked in real life there, as if that makes a difference. But on October, what was I saying, 21st, this is actually a combination Tweetup and Facebook up. You know, both, whether or not you're on Twitter or Facebook, you can register for this. Ooh, that's some interesting. Ow! God dang it, Wolfie. Out of the way! Ah! Look at him, he's like actively trying to block me from going through. What was I saying? Well, that's weird. It's just kind of like out there on its own. I guess there's some mountains around it, but I'm going to go around this way. What was I saying? The October 21st is going to be at the NASA's Wallops Flight Facility, which is in Virginia. They do a lot of the unmanned scientific rocket launches and things going from there. It's just a tweet up to give information about that, I guess. I don't think there's particularly going to be a launch for that tweet up, but certainly if you're on the East Coast, anywhere around Virginia there, that would be easy for you to get to. Of course. Yeah, I just read this now. The registration is closed, though, I'm afraid, so sorry. But certainly, just you can follow along on the Facebook and the Twitter to see what's going on there. Another one, watch out, squidus. Oh, I didn't realize you could bump into squids on a boat. I'm on a boat. October 23rd is going to be an actual rocket launch at Vandenberg Air Force Base in California. This is the first tweet up at that facility. Registration for that is also closed, I'm afraid. What else? Ooh, this is a nice little connected kind of river thing here. Now the big one, and this is kind of the reason I wanted to bring it up, the big one, and I mentioned this a couple times before, is going to happen November 23rd and the 25th. That is going to be at Kennedy Space Center. This one is very similar to the Juno tweet-up I was just at, except this one is for the launch of the Mars Science Laboratory, the Curiosity rover that's headed to Mars. That is going to launch on the 25th. That is going to be of very high interest to people, just because, you know, the missions to Mars and things like that always get a bunch of attention, even more so than the Juno mission to Jupiter. So that is something I would strongly encourage you to sign up for. The registration for that starts at noon Eastern Time, October 5th, and then closes 24 hours later on October 6th. Or no, wait. Oh, it looks like 2 days. They give you 2 days to sign up for that one. So Wednesday, October 5th to Friday, October 7th is when you have to sign up for that. But like I said, the launch of that one is on the 25th, which for my fellow Americans is Thanksgiving Day. So it's going to be of, I'm sure a lot of people are going to sign up for it, and it's going to be of particular interest, but probably because it is happening on Thanksgiving Day, there might be some people a little bit more hesitant about that, so you might have a better chance of getting into this tweet up if you can get away for Thanksgiving, or if you're from outside of the United States and you don't celebrate Thanksgiving, whoop-de-doo. But yeah, I would strongly suggest you check that one out. That's another 2-day one, a lot like what I did for the Juno tweet up. It's even a very similar rocket, so you get to, I know I've shared a lot of the launch videos from the Juno. It's a very similar rocket. It's very awesome. I'm sure they're going to have a lot of special guests for that one, just because, like I said, the missions to Mars get particularly a lot of attention when things like that happen. So yeah, that's going to launch on the 25th of November of this year, and it's due to land on Mars August 2012, so August of next year. So you could be there and watch the launch of a rover to another planet as a Wolfie swims to the shoreline. Fetch, boy. But yeah, that's really cool. So you can go to NASA, or www.nasa.gov/tweetup to learn more about that, and certainly when those registrations open, that's where you register as well. For the tweet-ups, you do obviously, the only requirement, or the main requirement, is that you have to have a Twitter account. That's just kind of given. And you should probably be following the NASA Tweetup Twitter account and also the NASA Twitter accounts. NASA has done a good job of embracing the social media and Twitter. There's the Curiosity rover has a Twitter account. Juno has a Twitter account. You know, the astronauts have a lot of their own Twitter accounts. So it's really cool, and I highly recommend it, even if you just join Twitter just to do that. But yeah, I think I pretty much hit on everything I wanted to about that. Oop. Oh, dang it. I actually wanted... I keep forgetting. Next time, I wanted to do just a quick, for the mid-episode hidey hole, just like a quick little elevated hidey hole, but I keep forgetting to. I'm sure a lot of people are going to ask if I'm signing up for the NASA Tweetup for the Curiosity. I'm not going to be. I mean, I already said that I'm not going to be able to go to Minecon, and that's actually the week before. So yeah, Thanksgiving would be hard for me to get away. And also, like I said, I can't really afford to go to Minecon. I really can't afford to go to another Tweetup, being as I just went in August. And also, being as I've already gone, I'd like to give somebody else a proper chance to go. You know, they're only able to select 150 people out of the thousands that may apply. So certainly, I recommend everybody, if you'd like to sign up for those. It's a ton of fun. But let me go to sleep. Ooh, those are very high-quality snore noises today. Oh, how do I get out of here? There we go. Check for creepers. Oop, I don't like the amount of foliage preventing me from seeing the creepers. Nice fall foliage here. Yes, I realize it's foliage. I'm just making fun. It's a Simpsons joke. Get with it. Oh. Alright. East, west. Carrying around miscellaneous cobblestone. Woof. So yeah, that is the whole situation for the NASA Tweetup. But yeah, like I said, really the only requirement is to have a Twitter account and be following those accounts, but also you usually have to be over the age of 18, and you usually can't bring a guest if you're accepted. Some of them you can, but you'd have to look at all the details. And you have to be over 18. Did I say that already? Yeah. But anyway, continuing on, I will stop talking about the NASA Tweetups for now. I did, in my last video, get a massive series of questions from one particular user, and I think their comment got voted to the top. Before that even happened, I saw this comment, and I was like, okay, this guy knows how to ask questions. Guy or girl, I don't know. But their username is either pronounced Diethoc or Diethoc, D-I-E-T-H-O-C. But thank you very much for all these questions. In one comment post, he asked 6 questions, he or she. No, 7 questions. So I'm going to run through them as quickly as I can. Some of them are kind of funny. Okay, here it goes. Here goes nothing. User questions. Let's go. First question, if you could become pregnant, would you? What kind of question is that? Absolutely not. And even though I can't get pregnant physically myself, I am the type of person I do not believe I will ever be wanting or having kids. That's just not part of my overall plan, if you were to believe that I have a plan, which I don't. But that's not part of it if I did. All right, next question. In the event of a zombie apocalypse, what would you bring with you and to where? I would like to say I'd bring like guns or things like that, but I don't own any guns. So from what I do personally own, I don't know. I don't really have much that is zombie apocalypse appropriate. I would probably bring, for those of you who know outdoor winter gear, I have a very nice and very big Canada Goose jacket. Not a jacket, it's a parka actually. It's the same, Canada Goose is actually the same company, and this is the same jacket that they give to the scientists who go down to the Antarctica to, you know, live in the Antarctica. These are really huge, you know, it's meant for being in, you know, 60 below weather sort of thing. I got it because I like to do astronomy in the winter, and it can get pretty damn cold out there when you're sitting outside looking through a telescope. So I would take that, and I would probably go to Antarctica or the North Pole or something, because you got to figure zombies aren't going to be able to prepare. They're not going to dress warmly. So if zombies were to follow me to the Antarctic or the Arctic, they would all be frozen by the time they got to me. So that seems like that might be the safest place to go. I'm really not huge into the whole zombie craze, to be honest. I've just recently watched the first season of Walking Dead, and it's pretty good, but I'm not one to go, oh, a new zombie movie, I gotta go out and see it. Or I don't know all the history of the you know, Dawn of the Deads, you know, the original zombie films and things like that. But I like Shaun of the Dead. I like it when they're kind of like funny, almost satirical zombie movies or something like that. But it's not like a huge, you know, it's not as big as, say, like sci-fi or, you know, the Doctor Who, X-Files type of stuff that used to be with me. So, but yeah, I guess I've never thought about it before, but off the top of my head, from the things I currently own, that is what I would bring, and that is where I would go. I would go to Antarctica right now if I had to without the zombie apocalypse, so that'd be pretty cool on its own. But anyway, next question. Do I need, I do need some wool. Yoink. Thank you very much, good sir. You are very kind, and your wool is very luxurious and soft. You are not very generous. You only gave me 2. So screw you. The next question from Diethoc, or whatever. They asked, what is my favorite version of Batman? If not, have you ever had... Oh, whoops, wrong question. Which comic series, movies, etc.? Talking about Batman. Never was into the comics. Not much of a comic book reader myself. But I do like The Dark Knight, and in terms of the last movie, there was Batman Begins, was pretty good, but I like The Dark Knight a lot better. Yeah, I'm not a huge comic or Batman person, superhero guy, but that's a pretty basic answer, I guess. Next question. Have you ever written any short stories or books? If not, have you ever had an idea for one? Not really. I was really good in all my English classes, and I really kind of enjoyed writing. But I've never, like, written a book. I mean, I took some creative writing classes, and there was, you know, poetry and short stories and stuff like that involved in that, but okay, not what I anticipated out of that. But nothing recently, and nothing too seriously. When I was little, we had, you know, the young authors thing they do. Where's my boat? Oh, my boat. I wrote a story about, it was like myself. I found some sort of ring that when you do something with it, it sends you back in time, and I was sent back onto the Titanic, I think it was. Yeah, I was sent back to the Titanic, and it was just a very short, weird story. You know, I guess that's where some of the science fiction... Get out of here, you miscellaneous sticks. That's where some of the science fiction nerd in me comes out. But yeah, it was kind of like it was probably inspired by some sort of X-Files episode. That, and I think for the entire elementary school, I won that year's for the young authors thing. I don't know if they still do that, but yeah, it was just... I don't even know if I still have that anymore, but that was kind of the only thing I can remember of any particular significance. But otherwise, I was always good at writing, and I liked writing and stuff like that. But I never kept up with that. And I don't have any current ideas either. So anyway, let us go to the next question. Have I ever traveled internationally? I mentioned this a long time ago in this video series, but I once went to Mexico a couple times, and I think I mentioned I went to like the ruins of Chichen Itza and Tulum, and what's the other one there on the coast? I think that is Tulum. Coba is the other one I'm thinking of. That was really cool. And then I've once been to Mexico, I guess you could say, the real Mexico, and Guadalajara and that surrounding areas. But then I've been to the Dominican Republic. I went there and I did some whale watching. That's where some of the humpback whales migrate during certain times of the year, so that was kind of cool. But that was just kind of on a, sort of vacation sort of thing. But otherwise, I'm not much for international travel. It's just become quite the hassle, and I really can't think of any place I'd like to go. I mean, Egypt would be interesting, but obviously lately that's probably not the best place to travel. Hopefully that gets resolved, and, they get their thing situated, but I'm not going to get into that. What else? I like the Rome and things like that. I'd like to go to Iceland. I kind of am more interested in seeing, like, natural places. Like I like going out west into the Grand Canyon and things like that. Iceland seems really cool. Same with New Zealand and Australia, and of course Antarctica. But I'm not much for traveling around to seeing, I want to see Paris or, stuff like that, for the food and the people and the architecture. No, I'm more about, like, seeing mountains and, stuff like that. But, yeah, that is the extent of my international travel. Last question from this crazy series of questions from Diethoc, whatever his name is. And it's just as wacky and out of left field. Do I like to swim, or do you like to swim, he asks. How? Oh, there was an additional question mark in there. How long can you hold your breath? I haven't gone swimming in a long time. I sort of like swimming. I remember in high school, you're forced to take it. Our high school had a, big swimming pool and stuff like that. I don't know if all high schools have that, but... And actually, the funny question about that, and what caught my attention is I can actually hold my breath for an unusually long amount of time. I remember as a kid when you take swimming lessons, and okay, everybody hold your breath and we'll have a competition. Everybody would be up and like out of breath, and I'd still be under there, with my face in the water. I'm perfectly fine. And I remember one kid asking, "Hey, he's like breathing through his ears or something. He's cheating." But I assure you, I cannot breathe through my ears. But yeah, it's well over a minute. It of course depends. If I'm just sitting there, you can hold your breath for much longer than if you're trying to like swim down to the bottom and hold your breath on the bottom of a pool or things like that. But yeah, I always remembered I could. I haven't done it in a while or seen how long I can hold my breath, but I always remember I could hold my breath for pretty long, just unusually long, more so than some other people. But yeah, that sums up a very interesting series of questions from a single commenter. Thank you very much for commenting and asking those questions. And certainly to everybody else, feel free to ask questions. Obviously, the more interesting, the better. And of course, I'm not going to get around to everybody's questions, so don't feel bad if I don't. But I mostly take the questions from the video comments, and, if you ask me on Twitter or Facebook threads and things like that, the personal messages in YouTube tend to get lost in the fray just because I get so many of them, and a lot of them are spam, so I tend to ignore those most often. So your best bet of having your question answer will be, ooh, floating workbench, I put you there. You'll have the best chance if you do it in the video comments, because I usually check these most often. But anyway, I hope this has been an enjoyable episode of Far Lands or Bust for you all. I certainly enjoyed myself. And I'm going to remind you once again to head over to farlandsorbust.com to contribute to our... Oh, dang it, I dropped the button. To contribute to our Child's Play fundraiser. Like I said, we just reached 84%. That's amazing. I'm looking forward to that final 16%, and then we can have some fun with a 8-hour, 20-minute live stream craziness. But anyway, thank you for watching. Please like, favorite, subscribe, and as I've been already saying, leave a comment or questions that I can answer and talk about things during these episodes. That'd be much appreciated. But in the meantime, my name is Kurt. I will see you next time.